The FCC got hit with complaints about Kendrick's halftime show. What up, words? Boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Gang, join that membership. These people are not happy with Kendrick's Super Bowl performance. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, we all knew that before this article or this information came out, that they were complaining about Kendrick's halftime show. I feel like we already knew what they were going to say before they said it, but they actually said it. And I'm here to talk about it because it's so funny that to see the tables turn, where one of the complaints they received, the FCC, who governs the television networks, they keep their morality intact, right? Like when Janet got her wardrobe malfunction, right? When that happened, the FCC got thousands, if not millions, of complaints about that, because that was low-key a big deal. Let's just be honest. I was like, oh, whoa. Like kids was watching. I had little kids. My kids weren't really paying attention like that, but the other kids were. And that was a big deal when Janet and Justin Timberlake pulled that little stunt, which I to this day believe was a stunt. And Janet caught the brunt of the stunt, and Justin kind of got like a little bit of a head nod, like, don't do that again. But Janet was like a whole freaking like a harlot and whatnot, the scarlet letter on her ass, right? But these people contacted the FCC, but the funny part about it is I think it was only like 125 complaints. And some of them were complaining that there was no white people in the performance. Imagine that. This is where it gets to, gang. It gets to this point where it gets embarrassing, gang. It gets embarrassing. When they start the reverse racism, it doesn't take much, right? It doesn't take much to trigger it. Now, they can go 50 years and make whatever shows they want, put da-da-da. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Friends had like one black person walk through there, two tops, and they were never in the cast, right? But somehow, some way, it can be whatever one way. But then the one thing we do that's culturally appropriate, it was a set that had a cultural message for a specific. It was from a specific group of people about us. In I'm going by what Kendrick appeared to be trying to display. It was a specific message about blacks in America, gang culture to a certain degree, which is a part of America, which, believe it or not, right? Believe it or not, I'm not even going to get into the real gang culture that has nothing to do with black people, and as to why we're in the situation we're in. That's gang culture too, as to why we are in certain pockets of the community and we're stuck there, and when we try to leave, they make sure you don't, right? That's another kind of gang culture. It's a blue gang, and it's a different kind of gangs that make sure we're not getting out of them ghettos that they want to keep you in, but that's a different conversation. But at the end of the day, it was a theatrical piece, right? Modern dance that was encompassing America in and of itself, what he, through his lens and the message he was trying to portray. And that message didn't portray any white people. Imagine we're doing something about Africa, and then we try to throw a white person in there dancing traditional African dance. It's going to look crazy, right? If we try to do a piece about the Zulu tribe and we throw two white people in there, it's going to look crazy. Now you're going to say, but Charles, look at Hamilton. Look how they do these. They do put these plays in there because they want to. They want to be DEI, da-da-da. Okay. Diverse inclusion, all of that is because there's no diversity. So when we do it, it's an uproar. Right? That's why this is an uproar. If it was such a thing about diversity, you wouldn't care who was on the stage. But you care because you're not on it all of a sudden. You're so used to seeing yourself. When you don't see yourself, then it's a problem. It didn't even have one or two. You can't reverse this thing and make yourself the victim when all of the stuff that you do is your design. And you do it how you want, and you put your own people in there. The reason we asked for those 1-2 black people, because if we didn't ask, you would never put them in there in the first place. So then when we put our productions on, when it's something that let's be honest. If that production is supposed to be about Irish, what do they do? The river dance, right? If they were to do a Irish, trying to make it theatrically accurate, if they were to do a movie about Irish river dancing, there wouldn't be not one black person on the screen. It just wouldn't make no sense. Let's just be honest. So this performance was about his perception of Black American culture. Those are the dancers that was chosen, right? It wouldn't make no sense to try to put white gangbangers on the stage and have them dancing like black people. It was a certain message. You booked them for a certain reason. The NFL don't care about these complaints, because for every complaint, I think that video's at 150 million. I don't know what it's at, but I know last time I checked, it was like 104, 108 million, right? NFL don't care about the 125 complaints. It's worth it. It was worth it. It got the message across of what he was trying to preach. It's one of I believe it passed Michael Jackson, who stood for 30 years. It passed his viewership. So the NFL really don't care about your complaints, and the FCC don't either. But I'm addressing the complaints because they were like, it was vulgar, it was gang activity, it was they were saying that it was obscene gestures. Like, it was a lot. They complained about Serena Williams doing the crip walk. So they had a lot to complain about. Again, it was only 125 people, but the sentiment was bigger than that, right? And we're throwing this whole DEI word around. You don't want this, you don't want that. Well, then why are you begging about putting your people in this performance? You don't want DEI at all. Make it make sense. If you don't want people to be forced into inclusion, why are you trying to force these white people into this performance? You can't have it both ways. If you're going to say, okay, we're sick of DEI, don't force nothing, then it is what it is. And when Kendrick does his show, the way he wants to do it, his artistic expression, then he can use all black people. Forcing the white people in there would be diversion and inclusion, right? Am I bugging out? Let me know. Because the way we're going, I just saw the new Leonardo DiCaprio trailer, and they got Regina King. Is it Regina King or Regina Bell? I believe it's Regina King. And maybe Regina Bell. She's in the trailer, and it's like two other black girls in the trailer. It's like a political thriller. It's about, I think these people are like rebels, right? And they are very on some conspiracy theory, fighting some whatever they got going on. And in the comments on Twitter, of all places, right? In the comments, they're like, oh, more DEI bullshit because they have two black girls in it. So now it's like, you can't have nobody black. That's what they want. It's a movie. The movie isn't specifically about white or black. The topic, the conversation, the whole thing has nothing to do with race. It's just a movie about conspiracy theories and this rebellious group, and they're secretive and whatever. And they saw one black girl over here, and I think it was like another one over there. And they were like, oh, black girls are in it. This DEI propaganda. So now it's escalated now where we can't be in nothing or it's DEI. Right? Now anything we're in is DEI. But that's where it was supposed to go. It's a racist trope. So they're not going to stop at actual DEI. They're going to say anything you do is given to you. You didn't earn nothing. And anything we're in is diversity. And they don't want to see it. But people like me that are intelligent enough to understand this is where it was always going. It was always to degrade us. Right? And I find it a little silly when the so-called blacks, the woke blacks, try to downplay this movement and make it like we're crazy for being offended by it. Right? It really bothers me when I see a smart guy downplaying this DEI movement, which is clearly a racist trope, to belittle us when he goes and tries to make it like we're overreacting. And I'm like, nah. We're not overreacting, because I see where it's going. Now it's going to be anytime we come on the screen of anything, they're going to be like, here we go, DEI. I wonder how many movie theaters they're saying that out loud in now. When somebody comes on the screen, DEI, I guarantee you, it's a thing now, gang. So what I'm saying is, for them to be now trying to spin it back and say Kendrick didn't have any white people, it's all racism. Because there are certain performances that are going to be what they are. When they are for a certain thing, right? When they have a certain theme that they're trying to express, it's going to call for a certain race of people to be on the stage. I'm just going to be honest. Some stuff, it may reflect a country or a region, but it's not so locked in historically that you can't put white dancers, black dancers, all kind of different dancers on the stage. But some stuff, when I have a vision, it's a vision. You can't force me to have anything other than that, right? That's like trying to rewrite Django and put a white guy as Django. It ain't gonna make no sense, right? So they went in and the racists were kicked in. It wasn't many of them, but they represent a large percentage of people. But at the end of the day, more people enjoyed the performance. I know they came out day one trying to say it was trash. A lot of Drake fans, it was trash. It was the worst performance. They got out in front of it. They tried to get in front, like the first, but I told you this, as the Super Bowl was going on, they were already, as it was going on, they started tweeting saying it was the worst performance. Hadn't even started yet, right? You know what I'm saying? Hadn't even started yet. They was already, so we already knew what they were going to do. But now we realized that the people that have nothing to do with the Drake battle, they got other motives to try to bring this thing to a head. So I'm just going to say it doesn't matter, because we're going to do what we do over here and you do what you do over there. You're still going to keep your racist tropes and try to bring things down and try to make things into they. I guarantee you that them kids that you're claiming had to be subjected to these offensive images, they've seen worse online, gang. They probably already know every word to every song that he was rapping. They probably know everything about this guy, and you're writing into the FCC talking about my kid had to sit through obscene gestures and I had to make them leave the room, right? That's what they're saying. They had to make their kids leave the room. That's where they're at with this. But end of the day, them kids is on the right side of history. You're not. You're protecting kids who probably ain't gonna like you when they're 13. They're probably not gonna like nothing you stand for, because society's changing. We've integrated this thing, believe it or not, one way or another. Them white kids is coming over to what we doing. In case you didn't know. Right or wrong, they're moving with what we're pushing where society's going. People like Kendrick and people of that ilk. So you're going to have to deal with it, and the FCC is not going to stop it. It makes too much money. Kendrick has made that NFL more money than they possibly would have believed that somebody for just a halftime show could have made them. It ain't many other people they could have put on that halftime show, and they got their work cut out for them trying to figure out who they're going to put next year. But I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG. I'm going to catch you on that flip side. Make sure you support the channel. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. Share it. I'm just going to be honest. Merchandise is down below if you're on YouTube. All right? Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
CLB.